This is a great question. So let's talk about the most efficient way to kick is actually... What's going on, swim fans? Coach Ferris here to answer your swimming questions. First question from Happy. Aren't we all happy? How do I improve my lung capacity? This is a great question. We talk about it here on the channel a lot. I'm gonna explain it in a few different ways when it comes to lung capacity. And first of all, you might be wondering, like, why does it matter? Why do you wanna improve your lung capacity? So besides the obvious reason of when you swim, your face is in the water most of the time. And so if you have better lung capacity, you can feel more comfortable, be more efficient with your actual swimming, but also from a performance side as well. So if you're trying to get faster, whether it's the 50-meter freestyle in a race, or you're trying to get better at like a triathlon, 1500-meter open water, the more controlled and calm you can be swimming at various speeds, the faster you're gonna be overall. And that starts with actually having comfort and control in the water. So if you wanna swim faster, you have to have an improved vital lung capacity. So a few ways you can do this. You can train in the water and out of the water to improve your lung capacity. So we'll talk about a few different ways you can do this in the water and then out of the water as well. So in the water, you wanna make sure that you are structuring your workouts so that you are attacking this part of your swimming economy. And what that means is you wanna focus specific sets on your breath control. So that could mean a warm-up set where you go 10-50s freestyle, where you're only gonna breathe every 5 strokes, or every 7 strokes, or every 9. There's different variations that you can do. Or it means you're gonna do a series of 25s, where you go 4 25s freestyle, and you're gonna take 3 breaths on the first one, 2 on the second, 1 on the third, and then 0 breaths on the final 25. There's a lot of different ways that you can actually structure that training, and you can have a progression over time. So in the first week, maybe you can only get down to doing 1 breath or 2 breaths on that full 25 or a 50, and then on week 2, you can start to reduce, or maybe you can even reduce the interval. So those 10-50s where you're alternating, breathing every 5 or 7, maybe you did 10-50s freestyle on the 105, and then the next week you can do them on the minute, and then the third week on the 55, and you can just continue to make progress so that your lung capacity and your control is just that much better. Another way that you can train your lung capacity in the water is using a snorkel. So a snorkel is a simple swimming device that you put in your mouth, and it actually restricts the amount of oxygen that you have coming in and out. So because you're breathing through a tube, you can't inhale a lot of oxygen. It's restricting the amount of airflow that's coming in and out at any given time. So when you swim, you're breathing in and out through your nose and your mouth, but you have full control, and a snorkel basically just limits the amount of control, and that restriction is what causes adaptation. So that's how you can start to see improvements with your lung capacity and comfort and control, which ultimately will make you swim faster and be more fit in the water. Those are a few different ways that you can train in the water. When it comes to out of the water, one of our sponsors that we've talked about here on the channel a lot is the Aerofit breathing trainer. And this is a tool that you can use out of the water to improve your lung strength basically. And by doing this out of the water, it trains like a video game, you're actually able to see measurable progress in your vital lung capacity, and you can train over time. So you'll spend 5 to 10 minutes per day training out of the water. So this is for more advanced, serious athletes who are trying to take their performance to the next level. If you're just trying to get comfortable in the water, I recommend doing just some basic drills in the water that really focus on just relaxing and being calm in the water, and that'll take you to the next level. Great question. Let's move to the next question. Next question comes from Brian. When you say that you are kicking on your back, your knees should stay underwater, how would you practice breaststroke kick then? I see it as elementary backstroke kick rather than breaststroke kick. This is a great question. So this refers to actually all the strokes, but specifically breaststroke. So let's talk about the most efficient way to kick is actually on your back or underwater. So you can kick with a kickboard, and that's fine, but to really get the most out of a kick set, I highly recommend that you do it streamlined on your back. Now this really comes into play for breaststroke, and what Brian's referring to is actually having your kick under the surface of the water. So if you think about it, you're on your back, your eyes are to the ceiling or to the sky, you're in a nice tight streamline, your hands should be right at the surface level of the water, same as your knees. So from your fingertips all the way through your hips and your knees are completely in a level. And when you do the breaststroke kick, you wanna bring your heels back, which is underneath the water. So if you visualize that, when you do breaststroke kick, you're bringing your heels back to your butt, and they should almost touch your butt, up, out, around, and together. But you wanna keep your knees under the surface of the water, because what happens is if you lift your knees above the surface of the water, you're actually gonna make it a more inefficient kick, because you're gonna create more resistance in the water. You're gonna create more surface area displacement. It doesn't feel like that when you're on your back, because you're on your back and your knees are coming out of the water. So obviously the air is faster than the water, but when you're actually swimming the stroke and you flip it around 180 degrees, you're gonna create more displacement with the amount of water that you're displacing through your kick. And that's why it's so important to keep your knees under the surface of the water. Now this same concept applies for all the other kicks. So if you're doing flutter kick, you wanna keep your legs almost 100% straight, you're pointing your toes, your knees are barely bending, and you're kicking from your hips. That's your hip flexors and your glutes. Now this is a very technical thing, so if you guys are looking to improve your technique, make sure you check out the MySwimPro app, which has video technique drills embedded with all the workouts, and all the workouts are personalized to your goal. So we have like a technique training boot camp. We have a few different versions of that. So if you wanna improve your technique and you wanna work on these things more specifically and have a plan personalized 100% to you, then you've gotta check out the MySwimPro app, available for iPhone, Android, sync with your smartwatch, whether it's the Apple Watch or Garmin. And of course, if you have any questions, make sure you leave them down below in the comments. And finally, join our Facebook group, the biggest digital swimming community in the world. I'm in there, the whole MySwimPro team is in there, and we're here to help you swim faster and smarter than ever before. Wish you guys the best. Let me know what questions you have down below in the comments, and happy swimming. Bye.